It is the year 2600, and all the top scientists of the world have gathered into one room. Before them stands a holographic projection of the Earth. The first scientist chimes in. We have made recent discoveries about something we like to coin the roof of the Earth. The roof of the Earth seemed to predate all of humanity and everything that ever inhabited the Earth. It was created by an ancient civilization meant to protect the world from outside forces. Unfortunately, the roof of the Earth seems to be cracking and falling at a fast pace. Scientists hypothesized that humanity only had 200 years left. A group of scientists had been working on a procedure called the Reptilian Protocol. The Reptilian Protocol was a DNA injection meant to help humans survive extreme climate. They ensured that the injections would be safe. They also hypothesized over the next couple of years, the world would experience new record-breaking temperatures. The scientists disbanded from the conference area to talk amongst themselves and some alone to decide if this is something they really want to push forward into humanity. What if you don't take the mic? Please, save us. Yeah. Don't. They said the injections were for survival, but they didn't tell us the side effects. No time passed since the last conference, and just like that, the Reptilian Protocol was pushed out upon thousands of volunteers. Early volunteers gained strength, heat resistance, but they lost empathy, emotion, and individuality. One man, Asmodeus Venn, made an emergency broadcast.
I've been hearing the chatter. I know the fears and the concerns, but this is humanity's only hope. And I alone will guide us all into a guided evolution. Anybody who refuses to take the injections will be silenced permanently.
From that point, millions of people started to take the Reptilian injection. It seemed as if overnight they all changed. The side effects grew worse. In addition to no emotion, no individuality, and no empathy, they all began to grow grotesque-looking appearances. Their eyes turned yellow. They grew protruding fangs and claws, and their skin, just like the injection suggested, reptilian, they grew large, hardened scales. They did survive the upcoming heat wave, but at what cost? Was this still humanity? What happens if you refuse the mark? You're hunted. Over the past couple of years, the injections began to be promoted heavily, trying to coerce and force anyone who had not taken it to take it. Celebrities, politicians endorsed it. Little did they know all of them were in on it the entire time. They promoted it to their fans, their followers, their supporters, and coerced them into getting the injection. Religion spoke out against this, claiming that this was the mark of the beast that legend foretold. Sadly, a number of them even succumbed. One man, Jalen Cross, refused the injection and spread messages that this is not humane, nor would it any longer be humanity. Jalen Cross led an underground revolution. New America was located underground. Although there was no sunlight, they still had access to clean water. They could grow their own food and begin a new civilization. However, one fact he didn't count on, the radiation from the sun would also mutate the ones underground. These new humans would take on a new form and a new name called the Greys. They all had a pale skin complexion, large eyes, and they all thought as one and moved as one. Although they were underground, they still received radio broadcasts from the surface. Incoming information detailed that taking the injections would sterilize anybody, so reptilians would be the last race. A civil war soon broke out between the surface world and the subworld. A lot of subhumans were captured and forcefully given the injection. Others who still refused or fought to the bitter end were unalived or held as prisoners of war. One small child in the subworld named Nero showed extreme psychic sensitivity and was more connected to the hive than anyone else. In addition to this, she saw fragments of future timelines. Nero one day received another transmission, but this time it was the full transmission. Do not take the Reptilian Protocol. It is, in fact, the mark of the beast that legend foretold. Asmodeus is not for mankind. Although he thinks he's working for mankind, he's being controlled by a force that he doesn't even understand. There's still hope. There's still time. At the same time, Asmodeus, the leader of the free world, received the same transmission from Cairo 3000. What he discovered shook his reality and made him drop to his knees. The future finally speaks, and it's worse than anyone imagined. Cairo 3000 was a hybrid messenger. He explained that the future was ruled by reptilians on the surface and the Greys ruled the underground. Both species are dying, and Cairo is the last being capable of time communication. Cairo told Nera that she was the only one that could save the world. On the other side of the world, Asmodeus received a different transmission. His transmission told him to go to the underground vault in the capital of the world. And once he was there, he discovered that he had no ancestral DNA, that he was manufactured by beings that he couldn't comprehend before his time or anyone else's to carry out this very moment. He dropped to his knees and said,
I am not the gateway. I am the key.
This shook him to his core, that he was a manufactured being. Nera, continuing listening to her information, was told everything that she needed to do to possibly save mankind. She wondered who this mysterious Cairo 3000 was, but something about them seemed trustworthy, familiar, like she could trust it, so she did. Ever heard of the term predictive programming? This was planned centuries ago, and humanity didn't even notice. The entire time the world had been seeing conspiracy theories, movies detailing aliens and reptilians and all things of the sort, they had no idea this was laid out before them to show them what they themselves would become. A lot of people misinterpreted the Bible and thought of the mark of the beast as simply being a symbol. Little did they know it was much deeper and much darker than that. The injections were in fact the mark of the beast, the reptilian. The same reptilians that humans feared ruled the world the entire time, they became the reptilians that now ruled the world. And as for all the UFO sightings and aliens with large heads and black eyes, that was the byproduct effect of humans living underground. Their eyes widened and became black to pick up on what little light they could to see. Their senses became hypersensitive. All of the ancient texts throughout time, Egypt, Rome, Tartaria, Atlantis, all detailed of this moment that was to come. They all had a glimpse into the future, but they misread the future. The enemy was not coming from the outside, but the enemy was humanity itself. Humanity became its greatest hero and its greatest villain. And in the end, how the story ends, no one could have prepared for. The reptilians hunted the Greys. They went underground. The Greys retaliated with psychic storms. This war would go on for a period of 8 years. Neither side seemed to shake from the losses, and neither would give up, fighting for complete and total dominance of the world. Asmodeus, in his private chamber, came up with an idea to merge both species into one final form. The Greys had all of the empathy, sympathy, emotions, and passions and creativity that mankind once had, while the reptilians had the physical strength, the agility, and the drive that humanity also once had. They both had a hive-like mindset. The Greys' mind could think together, while the reptilians were just mindless drones, all being led by Asmodeus. If he could fuse these two together, humanity would not look how it used to, but it could function even better. Cairo 3000 appears physically, stepping out of a corrupted time fracture. I have to do this. I must do what must be done for the sake of not just humanity, but the world and future generations to come. Cairo sends a psychic broadcast. The vision appeared before every living being. He explained to them that both species must merge willingly, not by force, only with love. If some by force and some by love, it will solve no issue and humanity will be right back where it started. Fighting over gray skin versus scale skin. Fighting over surface world versus subworld. He also stated that killing Asmodeus would collapse the hive and kill millions. He let them know they each hold half of the genetic key to survival. And he also calls out for Nera to come to him because she is the one alone that can help save the future. The Greys all met together. Asmodeus collected the Reptilians. He told the Reptilians that they must merge with the Greys, and all of them agreed. But it wasn't as if they had free will, so automatically it was negative energy. He had to find a way to give them their free will back for them to think. But then he thought to himself, what if they all are now not on one accord? The Greys met separately underground. All of them feared the Reptilians. They feared being chained and enslaved or eaten. Their hearts and minds were simply not in the right place to make this decision. Cairo 3000 meets with Naira and lets her know that she is the one alone who must go back to save the future. With the help of Cairo 3000, Naira travels back in time. She was the mysterious voice that warned humanity. But the message, as always, corrupt and only fragments survive. The message echoed through time. So far back in time did the ancient ones who created the roof of the earth that ultimately doomed humanity. The cycle begins as it ends, as it always has, time and time again. Naira would be sent back in time. The message would reach the ancients. They would create the dome. They would see that they made a mistake that they couldn't fix. Create Asmodeus from the lowest parts of their DNA. He would come to power and act the Reptilian protocol. Certain humans would rebel and go underground and become the Greys. Naira would evolve, mutate, and become Cairo 3000. Hope to save humanity and send her back in time. When she would go back in time, she would send the same message, and the cycle would continue. And the cycle would continue. And the cycle would continue. And the cycle would continue.